Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the ACSS news broadcast on sanctions against Russia. We try to make sense of the latest news on sanctions, and we'll guide you through what's happening in the world of sanctions against Russia, sanctions imposed by the European Union, by the US, by the UK, and why it matters for your business. My name is Saskia Rietbroek, and I'm Executive Director of the Association of Certified Sanctions Specialists. We're a member organization with members in 70 plus countries, manufacturing companies, banks, import-export companies, and many more. So please visit our website at sanctionsassociation.org. So let's see what happened today. Well, it's amazing. No new sanctions today. At least last time I checked but maybe an hour and a half ago, there were no new sanctions. So I'm sure everybody is still busy though. If you work in sanctions, a lot of European companies, at least I heard, are working very diligently and frantically sometimes to comply with the regulation, the EU regulations that came out on March 15, 2 days ago. In particular, the EU regulation 2022-428. This package here of all these sanctions, about, 60 plus pages or so. And one particular regulation is giving a lot of headaches. It's, I understand, Article 5AA of Regulation 2022-428 is a big pain, because that's the one that says all transactions, any transactions are now prohibited with these state-owned companies like Rosneft and Transneft and Gazprom, Kamaz, a manufacturer of trucks. And yes, there is a wind down provision until May 15 if you already had a contract, but it's definitely challenging, and your Russian counterpart may say, listen, we're not going to comply with these sanctions. And if you happen to sign a contract that has a jurisdiction or the applicable law being Russian law, it's very hard. You have to deal with all kinds of counterclaims. So definitely a challenging situation. But I would recommend you talk to your lawyer, and I'm sure they can help you. So what else have we seen? So I said no new sanctions today, but when we talk to our members, when I read the news, there's some other things I want to mention. First of all, in the United States, there is a task force called the Repo Task Force. They always come up with these cool names. Repo is short for repossessing, right? Like a car or another item. When a buyer defaults on his payment, you have a collection agency that knocks on your door and says, hey, we're going to repo your car. Well, this agency or this task force it's actually a multilateral task force. And Repo is short for Russian elites, proxies, and oligarchs. So it's a multilateral task force that is going after the assets of these oligarchs. Not to be confused with another task force that was launched earlier in the US. It's called the Task Force Klepto Capture. It's a hard one to pronounce, Klepto Capture. But this Repo Task Force, they met yesterday for the first time in a Zoom meeting with representatives from the United States, Australia, Canada, Germany, France, Italy, Japan, the UK, and the European Commission. And their goal is to collect and share information to take concrete actions, including more sanctions, but also things like asset freezing, asset seizure, and criminal prosecution against these oligarchs. Some successes have already been booked. So because of the information that is being shared right now between US law enforcement and the European partners, they already seized several yachts of the oligarchs. worth a couple of hundreds of millions of dollars. And it looks like there's some connection issues. I see it's fine again now, so thank you very much. I hope everybody is fine now, can hear me again. So let me know if there's another issue. So I was just talking about the repo task force, this new task force in the United States, in conjunction with European partners, Japan, and some other countries. They're going after the assets of these oligarchs. So it's, I think we're going to hear a lot more about it because, they just released actually the names of 28 individuals from the list who have been sanctioned by these jurisdictions that are being represented on this task force. And their names have been published. So it includes names like Oleg Deripaska, Babakov, Bortnikov, Kerimov, Lavrov, Miller, Rotenberg, the two brothers, Arkady and Boris, Sechin, and some more, Usmanov, and some of the big names, Vexelberg, some of the big names of these oligarchs. So they have been published, they were already listed, but they're going to have specific attention from this new repo task force. Going to the EU now, there was a statement a couple of days ago on March 11 from the European Banking Authority, and they are calling on financial institutions to ensure compliance with sanctions against Russia. They underscore the importance of compliance and the need for European banks and other financial institutions to implement and comply, right? Because that's where the rubber hits the road. In the compliance with these measures. They tell these banks that they need to check the effectiveness of your controls, and you are supposed to, or required, they say, to assess the adequacy of your controls and governments to ensure compliance. What else? So they also said that they're going to work closely with supervised institutions, the FIU, in the different member states and law enforcement to identify sanctions evasion scams. I haven't seen any guidance coming out yet from the European National Authority with like red flags related to Russians ducking the sanctions. I have seen that coming out of the United States. FinCEN a couple of days ago issued an alert on with red flags about sanctions evasion by Russian sanctioned persons. The European Banking Authority, in its communication of March 11, also said that the European Commission will provide clarity and answer queries on the scope and implementation of the European sanctions. And the European Banking Authority is supporting the European Commission in collecting and filtering these inquiries. So if you have any questions, you're supposed to ask them to the European Banking Authority, and they actually put out an email. Let me see if I can. I'll copy the email in the chat box in a couple of minutes. So, but anyway, so that's where you should be sending questions to. I'm not sure how fast the answer will be provided. What else? We also see some other practical issues related to sanctions that came out earlier, late February, from the European Union. And according to an article in Reuters, they say that the European Central Bank has told some banks in the European Union, I guess large banks, right? Because those are the ones that are being regulated by the European central banks. They told some of these banks to scrutinize transactions by all Russian and Belarus clients, including EU residents. So they are supposed to ensure that they are not doing transactions to circumvent sanctions against Russia. And you think of large banks like ING or ABN AMRO or Deutsche Bank. They them. I'm sure they're scrutinizing these transactions, and I don't know which banks got this letter or this memo, but I think it will have an impact, because if they tell you to scrutinize tens of thousands of Russian and Belarus residents, regardless if they have a European passport or not, that's quite a lot of work. Especially Germany, I understand there's a lot of Russians living in Germany. So there's like 200,000. So I'm sure they have bank accounts there. And it's going to be the banks have to be alert for large payments and deposits from these Russian clients, as well as maybe even new credit applications. So this is, of course, in line with a regulation that came out, as I said earlier, Article 5B of Regulation 2022/328 from the European Union, that says that it is prohibited to accept deposits exceeding 10,000 euros for the benefit of a Russian client in the European Union. So later, these sanctions were also expanded to cover Belarus account holders. But the sanctions specifically say that it exempts people holding temporary or permanent residency in the European Union or in Switzerland. And I think the scrutiny imposed now or requested by the European Central Bank does not mention this exception. So this move even brings EU residents, so for instance, Russians living in Germany, under heightened scrutiny, and would make it harder for them to operate bank accounts. So yeah, a lot of things going on. And yeah, so let's see if there's any questions so far. I got one question about, what other countries have a lot of Russians living in their countries. So I already mentioned Germany. Estonia is. I checked there's a statistics website that provides this information. So about 200,000 in Germany. Number 2 on the list is Estonia. Then Spain also has 80,000 Russian nationals living in Spain. France, number 4, and number 5 on the list is Switzerland. Okay, so I think there are some technical issues. Some people have an issue. Can anybody see me and hear me? Okay. Let me see if there's anything I can do on my end here. So I'm sorry about the technical issues. I hope we can fix this. If not, I will have to record this again or do it at a later time. I hope at least some people could hear it. Oh, people say they can hear me, but it looks like they cannot see me. Okay, let me. Okay, can you see me now? The mysteries of technology. Okay, I guess some people have no tech issues and others do have tech issues, so I'm not sure what's going on. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up right now. I see some people saying the sound is perfect. Some people see me, some people don't see me. So I apologize for these issues. Anyway, let's see if there's any questions. And we'll see if we can get the tech support people to fix this, but it looks like there's still a frozen picture. Anyway, I wish you all a very nice afternoon or morning for the folks in the US, and we hope we can see you again tomorrow with less technical issues. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.